Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. I hope students you are doing good. Chapter 15 sampling distribution is under discussion today, lecture number 12, and the third topic of this chapter is sampling distribution of sample proportions p hat. Now students, in this lecture I will discuss only notations, formulas and verifications formulas for the topic sampling distribution of sample proportions p hat. Kindly subscribe to my channel and give your feedback. Let's start the topic. Notations, formulas and verifications of sampling distribution of sample proportions p hat. The contents of this lectures are: first point where I will discuss the brief introduction about sampling distribution of sample proportions p hat. In the second point, students, I will discuss formation of sampling distribution of sample proportions p hat. In the third point, discuss populations and sample notations plus formulas. And the last point is formulas and verifications formulas for sampling distribution of sample proportions p hat. Now the first point is sampling distribution of sample proportions p hat. Now first we explain the term proportion, which is denoted by p hat, called sample proportion. Proportion means any part or a small part from a total or total number of units. The value of statistic, that is sample proportions, varies from one sample to another even if the samples are selected by the same procedure from the same populations. Thus, the statistic is a random variable. The distribution or a probability distribution of a statistic sample proportion is called sampling distributions. Now students, first we draw samples from the given population and also calculate the proportions from each samples. This is called a statistic, that is sample proportion, और उसके बाद हम उसकी sampling probability distributions को prepare करेंगे. This is called sampling distribution. The standard deviation of sampling distribution of that statistic is called standard error of that statistic. In the second point, I will discuss the formation of sampling distribution of sample proportions p hat. Steps involved in formation of sampling distribution of sample proportions p hat by sampling with replacement or without replacement using sample size n as: in the first step, make all possible samples of size n by sampling with replacement using formula capital N power small n, यानी population size की power sample size, और without replacement using formula NCN combinations use करेंगे from the given population. Then find the sample proportions p hat of each sample. In the first step, draw all possible samples of size n of any with or without replacement using formulas, and then find the sample proportions of each sample. In the second step, prepare the sampling distribution of the sample proportions p hat as find in step 1. Step 1 के तमाम sample proportions की values which is called statistic denoted by p hat, इसकी हम sampling distributions को prepare करेंगे. Then find the mean and variance and standard error of the sampling distribution of p hat. In the third step, compute the population proportions of the population values, and in the fourth step, verify the results using the verifications formulas. Sampling के results को population के results के साथ verify करेंगे using the particular verification formulas. These are the 4 steps involved in formation of sampling distribution of sample proportions p hat. Now in the third point, I will discuss notations and formulas for the population and sample proportions. When we consider the population values, population size is denoted by capital N, population proportions is denoted by P, which is equal to x over n, and x is the number of items of our interest and n is the total number of units, and Q is also the proportion against P and can be calculated as Q equal to 1 minus P. On the right hand side, we discuss the sample values. Our sample size is denoted by small n, and sample proportions is denoted by p hat, which is equal to small x over n. और हर sample size के अंदर जो है वो अपने units को interesting units को जो है वो हम x कहेंगे, और n जो है वो आपके पास total number of units होगा in each samples, and q hat is calculated from 1 minus p hat, and p hat is the proportion of our interest and q hat is the proportion against p hat. Now students, I will discuss mean, variance and standard error formulas for sampling distribution of sample proportions p hat. Now using formula for mean of the sampling distribution of p hat is denoted by mu p hat, which is also denoted by expected value of p hat. और now students इसको open करेंगे summation sign with p hat और इसकी relative frequency f of p hat से इसको multiply कर देंगे और इसका sum calculate करेंगे. This is the formula for the mean of the sampling distribution of p hat. वेरिएंस के लिए इस फॉर्मूला यूज करेंगे. वेरिएंस ऑफ द सैम्पलिंग डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ पी हेड इज डिनोटेड बाय सिग्मा स्क्वायर पी हेड और वेरिएंस ऑफ पी हेड भी राइट कर सकते हैं और इसमें हम लोग जो है उसको यूज करेंगे एक्सपेक्टेड वैल्यू ऑफ पी हेड का स्क्वायर माइनस साइन और एक्सपेक्टेड वैल्यू ऑफ पी हेड होल स्क्वायर. दिस फॉर्मूला कैन बी यूज्ड फॉर द वेरिएंस ऑफ द सैम्पलिंग डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ पी हेड और एक्सपेक्टेड वैल्यू ऑफ पी हेड का स्क्वायर जो है वो सबसे पहले आपने फाइंड करना है. इसको ओपन करेंगे समेशन साइन p hat square into f of p hat. In the third point, using formula standard error for the sampling distribution of p hat is denoted by sigma p hat. Standard error of p hat, you can also write standard error of p hat, and which is the square root of the variance. तो आपने square root expected value of p hat का square एंड माइनस साइन और एक्सपेक्टेड वैल्यू ऑफ पी हेड का होल स्क्वायर. तो स्टूडेंट्स आप लोग जो है वो ये तीन फॉर्मूलाज को यूज कर सकते हैं फॉर मीन, वेरिएंस एंड स्टैंडर्ड एरर के लिए फॉर सैम्पलिंग डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ सैंपल प्रोपोर्शंस पी हेड. Now in the last point I will discuss the verifications formulas for sampling distribution of sample proportions p head. First of all, I will discuss the verification formulas for sampling with replacement. First verification is that mu p hat equal to p. Mu p hat is obtained from sampling distribution of p hat, which is also denoted by expected value of p hat और इसको हम equal proof करेंगे population proportions. Second verification is for variance of p hat, which is denoted by sigma square p hat equal to pq over n. Or third verification is for standard error of p hat, which is denoted by sigma p hat. It is the square root of the pq over n. And secondly, I will discuss verification formulas for sampling without replacement. And first verifications for sampling without replacement is same as sampling with replacement. Mean of p hat equal to p. Population proportions के equal proof करेंगे mean of p hat को. Second verification is variance of p hat, which is denoted by sigma square p hat equal to pq over n और साथ में मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे एफपीसी फैक्टर. फाइनाइट पॉपुलेशन करेक्शन फैक्टर is n minus n over n minus 1. And last one is the standard error of p hat. Standard error of p hat is denoted by sigma p hat, which is the square root of pq over n into n minus n over n minus 1. And these are the verifications for sampling with replacement and without replacement using sampling distribution of sample proportions p hat. Now students, in this lecture the complete structure of the sampling distribution of sample proportions p hat has been discussed. Notations, formulas and verification formulas are discussed. इंशाल्लाह स्टूडेंट्स नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में आपसे मुलाकात होगी. अपना ख्याल रखिए और मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें. अपना फीडबैक जरूर दें. ओके स्टूडेंट्स, अल्लाह हाफिज़. थैंक यू.